welcome Tim Eckstein, who's our new appointee. He's the commander of the American Legion Post 18, and recently appointed for 2 times he's been appointed now.
I'm an incumbent.
We're working on that application form to make sure we get the process down. So, public comments, citizen input. Mr. Fred Zippler.
I don't need to identify myself, do I? I got a few things here. First and foremost, we're going to be start driving again Monday the 22nd with some drastic, unfortunate changes. Since the Chinese virus hit, we lost 4 drivers. We picked up 1 new one, so now we have 4 drivers. So we're going to do this. We're going to drive only Monday through Thursday. Maximum of 8 passengers per day. No driving on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. The phone service, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., also Monday through Thursday. We don't like to have to, we don't like doing this, but we just have to. We just don't have the people. And on that note, I'm going to bring this up again. An increase for our drivers as far as their passenger. I'm going to bring up again $10 per passenger. That would make maximum $80 a day, $320 a week, and $100 a week for the phone operator. I tried this before and I don't know what happened. I'm sure it was met with some sort of dissension, but that's all I have on the drivers. Any questions so far?
Everybody be vaccinated, all your drivers.
Yes. And I have masks. I told you here a couple of meetings ago, I bought 300 of them out of my pocket. I threw away the receipts, unfortunately. So I ate them, which is fine. But there'll be a baggie in the car with 10 masks. And they'll be given 1 mask to keep for future uses as well. I can't afford to buy another 300. Questions?
We did, I think according to the minutes, we tabled the motion discussion about the pay. So if somebody wants to bring it up at the meeting, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Your old business.
I would encourage it. Next to last, cemetery flags. We're going to need 17 gross. That's spread across the board. PLAV, that's VVA accordingly. We haven't got it in I don't think we've got it in the last 2 years, if I recall. Mike, am I wrong?
No, we haven't gotten any the last 2 years because when we first stood up, we said, okay, here's the deal. You're going to reuse them. You pull them out like we do at the Legion and you use them over again.
Yeah, well.
So I don't know how this 17 gross, where's this all going?
The PLAV, the AMVETS, the VVA, Purple Heart. I think.
Which cemetery does Purple Heart do?
I don't know. St. Pat's.
Okay.
We've reused our, I'm speaking for the AMVETS now, we've reused our flags for years, and they're looking pretty crappy. I mean, crappy.
Well, I don't have a problem, this is the 3rd year, and we discussed that when we started up, that every 3 years we can get flags instead of 3,000 flags every year.
Yeah.
Now, 117 gross, that's a whole bunch of flags.
No. 17 gross.
That's what I said, 17.
Oh, you said 117.
No, 17 gross is a lot of flags.
Yeah.
Buy them last year? No.
No, we didn't, we haven't bought them for the last 2 years. That's 2,500 flags.
Yeah.
Refresh me on who pays for them?
The county pays for them.
Okay.
The American Legion orders them,
Yeah.
and, where's Mark?
What do you pay for grocery call?
I don't, it's been 3 years, I'm sure it's gone up. Where'd Mark go? Mark, you said. Yeah. Mark, how did we get them paid for before? You did a voucher or something?
We did a distribution voucher through the county.
Yeah.
Did you call per gross what it was?
I have to look at the catalog. I don't know what that current amount was.
I order them and pay for them from the American Legion, and then we get reimbursed by the county. And, you know, the respective organizations pick them up from the American Legion. Now, I haven't looked upstairs how many I got. I might have 10 gross upstairs.
All the
But
benefits.
I didn't hear you count the American Legion in your
I don't know how many American, that's who I forgot. I said, who did I forget here?
well, the American Legion, I didn't hear anything. Marine Corps League, do you guys put flags out anywhere?
Do the ceremonies.
You do the ceremonies? Okay.
We were the only ones last year who did ceremonies.
Okay, well, we'll work out the details later on. So,
Well, we got to get them ordered pretty quick because, you know, this is March already. It's going to take a month to get them here.
Anything else, Mr.?
Yeah, I got to run one real quick. It's probably none of my business, but I got a copy of the changes you guys come up with on here. The first and foremost thing again in here is it must be an indigent, blah, blah, blah. Nobody defined what indigent means.
We're going to talk about that next.
Okay, I know it's none of my business, but
I'd like to go back to the flag issue.
yeah.
We got to get them ordered, and I move that right now we approve the American Legion order 18 gross to be reimbursed by the county. That way I'll have them before we, you know, because it takes a while to give them out.
Right.
It ain't going to happen in one day.
Right. I know a lot of supply chains are a little behind schedule because of the pandemic too.
And when I call up to the American Legion and order 17 gross, they're going to go, what? And they may have to order them from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And when they come, they usually come on a semi on a pallet.
Support for the motion?
I second that motion.
Troy, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, passed.
I'm going to order 20 gross. That'll give 3 for the American Legion. I'll see how many I got upstairs and we'll go from that.
Could you let me know how much per gross you pay whenever you get them, Mike?
Yeah, I'll take a look online and see what I get or in the catalog.
Let's see, driver's flags and drivers. Thank you.
Any more public comments? Mr. Douglas?
I know that some of you have never been to the homeless shelter here in Bay City. And it's been doing pretty good. So far, we've had 17 people go through the homeless shelter. We're still supporting about 16 families, veterans and their families, that we give them groceries and stuff every weekly. It's all privately funded through the gift and thrift store that we run on the west side for the veterans. One thing is the quartermaster from the National Guard in Saginaw passed away, and in the basement he had a bunch of Iraqi freedom medals in the basement. I have 160 brand new medals that have never been issued, and I got over 200 combat infantry medals that's never been issued. I will not sell them. I will give them to some officer from either the National Guard or the Reserve if you want to find somebody to come in and pick them up at my store. Due to the pandemic, we were doing really good up until then, but we had a setback. I had to evict one of my veterans, him and his significant other became, what the heck do you call that, when they do 666 on the walls and stuff like that. So we had to evict him. And come to find out, he hadn't paid the utility bills. So I need to find somebody to loan us $5,000. I will pay it back, or somebody help me get a grant, because the store is making money, and we give away. Everybody knows that we give away free furniture to most of the veterans. We have every couple of weeks we give them groceries. Anything a veterans needs. I helped two just this last week get their 100%, and first when they move into the shelter, I'll have them a job. I've gotten 13 of them jobs so far. Jack Fruit Market, Larry's Meat Market, Walmart, Home Depot, Menards. I have a waiting list of what want veterans to go to work for. So we're out there, and due to the pandemic, we had a shutback. And if you, PLAV's been forthcoming to help us out. The VFW out of Standish has been really good. The VFW out of Bay City last night gave us a donation, but I thought that some of the veterans posts would get behind it, but none of them have. I don't know how long I'm 80 years old. I can't do this forever. I got a couple good volunteers, the ladies, and I got 3 or 4 guys that are helping out. So if you know any place I can get a big storage building at a reasonable rate, or I need or I can get a loan or a grant from some organization to help us out, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? I don't know, Mark, do you want to speak now, or I don't have you on the schedule if you want to give your report?
Happy to do it now. So as many of you know, we did reach out to Etchworks in Tawas about getting the name engraved on the memorial front. And I know it's one of your items on the business. It's about $200 is what he said. I have got him the county paperwork to become a vendor, and then I will connect up with him again to get the get all that, make sure it got straight and get back to the county so we can get him if the committee wishes to have him. As there were none in Bay County, there's none that we can find to do the engraving, so. I think that's everything I've got. There were new presumptives came out for Agent Orange, 3 new things, bladder cancer, hypothyroidism, and Parkinsonism. So just new things coming through. So anything that's been denied, the VA is supposed to contact them and then hopefully get back to getting them either reviewed or, but we know how the VA does that, so.
And the position, the part-time position?
Part-time position open until the 23rd. Get your applications in.
Just want to point out, burn pits are sort of the hot topic right now. As you know, I do the physicals, and I've had some in with burn pits and Camp Lejeune, maybe 1 or 2 the water supply, and there's some legislation on the burn pits now. It's probably in the process, like Agent Orange was in the process for a period of time before that got approved. And that one with Gulf War syndrome, that I think fairly recent one they got approved for a multitude of disease entities that turned into the Gulf War syndrome, they call it. So.
And they're now looking into the K2 incident in one of the places where we never had a U.S. base. That used to be a Soviet base. Oh, yeah. It's the new hot topic coming up. So
I think I had one of those.
In one of the stand countries. I can't recall which one, but
somewhere.
One of those. So, yeah, it used to be an old Soviet bombing base. Apparently it was a horrible, very contaminated, radiation, every kind of thing. They're not even sure what. And that's the new thing that's hopefully will make it out of Congress at some day.
come see Mark if you have any of those, been at any of those places.
Yeah, and with the VA, we're still waiting on guidance from the VA on the 3 new items for the Agent Orange exposure. They want us to hold off on claims. One day they want us to submit claims, so we're doing both.
What was it, you said thyroid, which?
Hypothyroidism, Parkinsonisms, and bladder cancer.
I know they had prostate cancer was on the list. Before.
Prostate is, yes,
Yeah.
that was the last before these.
Thank you. Any questions for Mark? All right. Go into petitions, communications. I put this on pending legislation, and we worked on this a little bit last year. It's come up before about, number one, being indigent. What's indigent mean? And there was legislation that was worked on by our previous state rep and his staff. And I don't think it got to the floor. I don't think it even got a number. But I sent it back to our current rep, Mr. Beeson, and his staff. Rob Anderson is the staff person down there, to take a look at it again. We have Jason Wentworth, who's the Speaker of the House, who's a veteran service officer, so we might get a friendlier reception from him, having done that work. So I'll just talk a little bit, and this went to Amber also, our staff lawyer, to look at also, and she had some comments about it. And I sent all that down to the office, to Beeson's office, with an analysis. And number one on the list was the indigent definition of what is indigent. And also in there are some money, so this is legislation from 1899. This is the Soldiers and Sailors Relief Act from 1899. So cost of living has gone up a little bit since then. And one has a dollar amount. I think it's got a $10. Awarding emergency aid has been changed to reflect the way local county governments now organize. The amount of emergency aid has been increased from $10 to $300 to reflect inflation. I'm not sure what we got in our proposed thing here, but so there's the dollar amount, there's indigent, there's a few other things that they're going to take a look at and see if they can get some legislation introduced. So maybe we get go down and testify if anybody wants to go testify before a committee. It's always a lot of fun, right? Most of us remote though, by the way, at least for now, until they get back in person again. So I just want to let you know about that. So that's going up for a look at. Key lockbox update. That might be Troy. Key lockbox. Yes. Go ahead, Troy. Oh no, Craig. Not Troy. Wrong guy. Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been called much worse, so I will take Troy.
Thank you, Craig.
Some of the other things. Just a quick update on that. The Buildings and Grounds staff did locate and install a lockbox near the location where the vehicles are parked. And I will go through that with Mr. Zippler and assign out and maintain a list of the key holders for that lockbox, if you will. What kind of prompted this all was MMRMA, our risk management company. Basically, it's a requirement that keys do not leave the premises. And so what we did is we came up with this concept in a lockbox. And so that's where the vehicles will be, or the keys for the vehicles will be maintained. So that is installed. I went and I made 6 copies this morning and dropped that. Actually, I physically tested them all. They all work, and those are currently in my office. They're on the first floor. And I will get with Mr. Zippler and get those to the individuals, the drivers, so we can then again get the list of who the key holders are for that lockbox. So up and running, so we should be good to go for them on Monday.
Okay. All right. Any reports or resolutions? I don't have any right now. Old business. Why don't we talk about the driver's pay first of all? That was tabled at our last meeting. If anybody wants to bring it up, I guess that's what we just need to decide first. Or I don't know if Craig has got any more information or has looked at the budget for paying drivers $10.
Well, I had done that, if you remember, I had sent the spreadsheet, I had done some calculations to, roughly about what it would equate to, not knowing precisely how many how many passengers there'll be this year. We went off, I believe the numbers in 2019. I did also forward that information over to Amber Davis Johnson, our corporation counsel, for her review and her opinion. Unfortunately, she was not able to attend today's meeting, so that's kind of where we're at.
I think unless there's any motion at this time, we're waiting for more. We'll stay tabled.
Yeah, I got a comment. I move we table it, but to go along with that, I think going, right now we're at what, $3 a trip, Fred? Three?
No, three passengers.
3 passenger, okay. I am still adamant that we don't go per passenger, we go per trip. It pretty much takes the same amount of time per trip as it does per passenger. If you have 3 people in the car, it's about the same amount of time. It takes longer to pick them up. And I don't know if we can afford $10 per trip.
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking back at the May of 19 notes that we had $1, and at the time we motioned to move it to 3. And that year in 2018, we had 1,347 passengers, and we figured the increase was going to put us to about $4,000. Now we went from $1 to $3. Now we're looking at going a year later from 3 to 10. I think that's a concern of mine.
Yeah,
So it's
mine
quite a
too.
jump. It's over 300%.
Unless somebody wants to make a resolution to remove from the table, we wait for more information from Craig this time.
I move we leave it tabled and see what Craig has to say and what Amber has to say. But, that's just my opinion is 10 is too much, way too much.
We're looking over.
You don't need a motion for that. Let's take it, so.
And the scheduler, 100 per week to work Monday through Thursday. I have a question regarding that. The part-time person that is being hired, why can't they be responsible for that, scheduling the drivers?
I agree with Marilyn.
We've discussed that before. Have the part-time person do the scheduling.
Yes. I know it was brought up before, but I think that should be looked into also.
I agree.
All right. Any other comments? Mr. Eckstein, any comments? Put you on the spot, you're new here. It's about paying the veterans for van service and stuff we've been looking at.
Now, I'm following the trend of the conversation. It's pretty clear what, thank you for accommodating my ignorance today. I appreciate it.
Back in the day, I drove for free, but that was a few years ago. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that for now. Emergency Relief Fund draft, and everybody should have a copy. I actually pulled some of the old, to look at what we had in the old one, and I don't know if you got it broken down, Marilyn, by what's been changed.
I do have it broken down by what the Veterans Office was working from, and also the new information I received. Also, we have to follow the Veterans Relief Fund Act 214 of 1899. I would like every committee member to review this, and maybe we could table it for the next meeting. Give them time to digest everything and comments.
Is this where we have to determine what our definition of indigent is? Is that what this is predicated?
It needs to fit into this, yes.
Yes.
As you see, eligibility requirements up front, it must be an indigent. Okay, so what is an indigent? Is that you? I don't think so. It might be though. It might be me. I don't know.
If you got 6 kids and a family, yes, you could be making 30,000, 40,000 and be indigent. So.
And also handed out was their the financial information form they filled out when they applied for the emergency relief fund. I didn't change that form, it's the same form Mark and Crystal has been using to distribute funds. And I don't know if Craig has anything to say about that financial form, or if Amber ever got to look at that, so.
Craig, I think maybe we'll talk about having Amber take a look at this too before our next meeting, and the Indigent Defense Fund, or the, Soldiers and Sailors Relief Fund, and take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can forward this. I'll have to submit like a matter request form, I'm sure. So, all that takes time, but I'll be happy to do that.
And the indigent definition, like I say, we might be waiting for legislation on it. If they come up with something, so, a scale of like how many family members and things like that they do for.
Isn't that sort of like in Webster's dictionary?
Yeah, we've tried that route before, but it's a little vague, so.
And also, a minor child has definitions also, and we need to look at that also.
I think, didn't you change the timetable a little bit on when they can come back? I think it's 3 months versus 6 months in one spot, and 1 year versus 2 years.
I think that was in the gas cards was one, and
For emergency relief for food and gas, it's different than all the,
Every 3 months, and then the other one is once a year.
yes, but for, they may receive assistance once per year on only one of the emergency needs listed below.
And did you add those, the numbers were in there, how much they can get up to 850, and then the director of veterans affairs to.
Well, I've got a comment on that.
Yeah.
That paragraph says Bay County Veteran Service Officer staff is temporarily granted authority. If we're going to finalize this, it's not going to be a temporary thing, so that needs to go away. The staff is granted authority to spend up to 650, and the director up to 3,000. Right now, it's temporarily, but.
Yes, that was a motion we made a while ago.
Right.
And I believe it should be changed also.
Yeah, I would pull that out, because we're going to vote on this, and
Yes.
it will no longer be temporary.
All right, so recommendations that we tabled for now and refer to our staff attorney and our administrator to take a look at it.
Yes,
I guess we need a motion to table it then.
I make a motion to table the rules and regulations for the emergency relief fund for next month.
I'd second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. New business, any new business that we have? I don't have anything. We need to get Mr. Eckstein sworn in. We'll visit the clerk and get sworn in officially. Miscellaneous. Any announcements? I did receive a letter from the Valley Garden Club that they're going ahead with that project over by the entrance to Vets Park, where the pool is, to fix that up, put some pavers in there, do some landscaping, and take care of that. I made a donation. I said, if anyone wants to donate, they'll give you a block or a brick, by the way, if you donate. I think it's $100. Put your name in there.
That's the pool area?
It's at the entrance to Vets Park off of Henry, down by the doctor's office there, that sort of a divided
Oh,
driveway.
gotcha.
They're gonna landscape that area and put some paver brush in there with the name, Valley Garden Club.
Did they solicit Jim Campow to get a donation? That's his, it's right next to his place there.
Yeah, and they've got some money from other groups too. And if there's any service organizations that want to donate, they can donate also. Any other announcements?
Craig still has his
Craig.
hand up.
Craig has his hand up.
Great. Oh, that's.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I just want to commend the committee on including, I know it's a draft, but including some language down there at the very bottom in regards to the appropriate way to address staff if they do come in for assistance. Unfortunately, there have been some instances where, staff is spoken to in a manner that's probably less than desirable. So Mark and whomever this, it used to be Crystal, but now whoever's the new part-time employee will be, they work diligently to try to find solutions for individuals. So it's important that, individuals that come in to seek assistance are professional and courteous to them. I mean, they're kind of bound by state statute and whether it's county policy or policy that the committee enacts. So I appreciate and appreciate the language and with that verbiage being in there. So thank you.
I just had a question about the assistant to Mark. Does Mark get to sit in on the interview at all, or is that a personnel department decision for the assistant to him in the office downstairs?
Well, there are different ways or different thoughts about that. Sometimes, another director would sit in on interviews. It is potential, it's potential or possible that, a staff member sit in as well. So that's something we're still a week away from the cutoff of that application process. So I can, certainly give it some thought and reach out to you here, during this week and talk about some options for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Zippler, I guess we'll do public comment at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. You have something?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. We'll do. A lot of places have public comment at the beginning and the end, so we have time.
Alphabetical order. This thing about getting Craig's or Mark's assistant to take over the phones, that's great. I would be all for that. In fact, I am. However, I don't want it to happen what happened last time. I think you're all aware of it. I don't know. When Frank Lewandowski had to turn in the phone downstairs. And Frank got well again. In fact, I was with Frank when we went down to Craig's office and took the phone back. There was 50, that's 50 missed calls. They were not returned, and they were all before 12:30 in the afternoon. Just keep that in mind. Get somebody, if you're going to do this, I'm okay with you giving it to somebody else. Make sure they're doggone reliable and dependable. And they'll answer the doggone phone. That's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Douglas.
I have a question for Troy. There are a number of people out there soliciting funds on the street corner, and they don't have an ED 214, but they say they have a thing up saying they're a veteran. Is there anything we can do to stop this? I mean, they're taking money away from the veterans by doing that.
That's by individual township rulings, I believe that's where the township, that the person's peddling on the corner from, but that's per individual township rulings. Some of the townships allow it.
Yes. And it irritates me to no end of my wife too, so.
I
One on
understand
the corner of Thomas and Euclid that says, I'm a vet.
all the time.
Question is, are you an honorably discharged vet or were you?
No DD 214, I've approached all of them.
I've stopped before and asked and told them where to go to get help and I don't think they showed up.
I'm offered to hire him before as well.
They make more money on that corner
They do.
than they make working.
$100 a day.
Some people do, yeah, you're right. I'm offered to hire him.
It used to be my corner for Lions Club for tag days. We made a lot of money. I made $800 on that corner sometimes for a day and a half. I was a little tired by the end of the day, but yeah. Yeah, and those laws are, I think it's gone to the Supreme Court about some of those laws about you can't restrict people from their, as long as they're on public property and they're not threatening people or approaching them. Now, I've heard of some that have been a little forceful at times, then you can turn them in then. All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn would always be in order.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Oops, I'm sorry. You got it.
No discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.